What's up, guys? Welcome to the Surf and Turf podcast. I'm Uneven Shrimp.
See, okay,
All right.
my name's Chicken, but at this point, if you don't know who I am, you can get out. You
Oh.
can throw your phone at a wall and never listen to this podcast again because you should know who I am. I'm the biggest face on the streaming platform. Just kidding. No. What up?
What up, chicken? How are you doing today?
I'm pretty good. How are you?
I'm good.
Not terrible. Not
I'm
terrible.
I'm good. I'm good.
I could be better.
Yeah,
One
I
of those
feel that.
weeks that starts out like a Hail Mary and then it ends like super weird is
Yeah.
literally the week I've had.
Yeah, I might need you to help carry today's podcast because I'm very low energy today. But uh so so we'll see how this goes. We'll see how this goes. Luckily we have an energetic guest. So hopefully that goes
Yeah,
well.
we do.
But
Yeah.
yeah. You said you had an interesting week.
Yeah, I mean, I started out the week pretty like Monday, Monday morning, I was almost positive that my wife and I had COVID-19. We're both vaccinated, so we weren't like too concerned with our own health, but I was convinced that we had COVID-19. And my
Mm.
wife was like a little on the fence about it. She was like, like maybe, probably not. But I was like, baby, we have it. Like we have COVID. Like I didn't have symptoms, but my wife had like a sore throat and some other stuff. So I was like convinced that she had COVID.
Mm.
And I was like, I can easily work from home. So I was like, called my boss, like, hey, like I'm gonna work from home Monday and Tuesday until we get COVID tests. And then on Tuesday, it was like, yeah, you don't have COVID. And I was like, what? And like at that point, like my wife got like a little bit more sick. Like she had like a sore throat, which was even more sore at like the second day. And I was like, I'm so confused right now. Like this makes no sense to me. Anyways, long story short, after 2 days of thinking we had COVID, I went to work the next day like, oh my gosh, do I have COVID or do I not? Because like everything you hear, everyone's like, well, just because you test negative doesn't mean you don't actually have it. And I'm like, then what's it mean? What does it mean? So I'm like, at the end of the day, I'm like, yeah, like this week was a very interesting week. So I'm down.
Yeah.
I'm down to clown, but not like that. Very weird. Very, very weird.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, I had a pretty good week. My brother was out here this week or Monday and Tuesday, and we went and watched a movie and did a few other. Got these Pokemon Build-A-Bears, which are really cool, and I like them a lot. We'll probably talk about that a little bit more when or later on in this podcast because we went and watched the movie. And yeah, we had a good time. We went to this new retro gaming place downtown in my city. And they had like a bunch of really cool like old games and stuff. Like they buy and sell retro games, so they had like some
Yeah, that's
like
pretty dope.
Sega Genesis and like all these like old game systems, and they had a few TV setups that you could play old systems.
That's lit.
We didn't do that, but they had a bunch of arcade games or
Yeah, yeah,
arcade,
yeah.
and so we looked around for a while, and then I walked up to the guy with like $2. It's like all the games had like a quarter, and so I walked up with like $2, and I was like, "Hey man, can I get $2 in quarters to play the arcade games?" And he was like, "Nah, actually, all the games are set on free to play." So we just walked around and played arcade
Oh,
games for a little while,
dang.
and had a good old time. But
That's like
yeah,
the best.
yeah, it was really fun.
Literally like the best.
They had like GameCube and like Nintendo and like the originals, DS's, every like almost every gaming system you could think of. They were
Dang.
selling. It was cool. It was cool.
Lit.
But yeah. So, um, is there anything you want to talk about before we bring our guests on?
I don't think so. I think that's everything.
All right.
I think
Um.
so. Why don't you intro our guest here?
All right, I'll do that. Um. So our guest today is none other but than Twitch's favorite farming simulator streamer, uh, the Rookie.
Uh,
Come on, go ahead and throw your camera on, Rookie.
Yo, guys, what's up?
Yo, what up,
Farming
bro?
Simulator? Oh, oof,
I
That's a
mean,
big oof.
I mean,
oof.
have you streamed
I
it?
have I have streamed Farming Simulator,
Haven't you
and I can't wait for the
also
new one to come out. It's like in 2 days or something like that.
haven't you also streamed Lawn Mowing Simulator?
Have I
Lawn
streamed
mowing
it? I
simulator,
have,
baby.
yeah.
Dude, lawn mowing simulator is. See, I don't know how I feel about all these simulator games. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm just like on the fence.
Yeah.
Are they
Well,
that good?
they're pretty great.
You're like,
Well,
why do I want to simulate mowing the grass when
yeah, I could just go out and mow my grass.
But can you?
No, I can't actually
Okay.
because I don't have a lawn.
you go over to
Do you have a mower?
Because I don't have a mower or a
There you
lawn.
go.
or you go over to your brother's house and mow his lawn?
I mean,
I'm
that
sure
is
he'd be
true.
happy to let you
Oh
mow
yeah.
his grass.
Oh, dude, my brother would be ecstatic. Be like, yo, thanks, bro. Thanks, bro, for mowing my grass. Be like,
Go to
yeah,
the
no
local
problem.
cemetery. I'm sure they'll
Oh,
hire you to
no.
mow their grass.
Oh my
Oh,
gosh. See, there's like certain things about I've said that I bought a home.
Uh huh.
There's certain things about buying a home that you're like, oh, like buying a home, like this is great. And then you're like, oh yeah, like I looked forward. I live in a row home, like a townhome community, so we don't mow our own grass. Someone comes around and mows it for us. And like I was kind of looking forward to mowing my grass just like every once in a while. Not like, oh hey, I want to mow my grass all the time. It's just like I don't know. There's something about like having your own lawn and you're just like, I'm gonna go out and mow today, get on the go riding mower, crank some tunes,
excuse me.
mow the
Yeah.
lawn.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's
There's
kind of
something
like
about
relieving,
Yeah.
like stress relieving. Like, oh, I had a bad day. Let me go home and just like sit on my mower, or, like even push my mower, like just get my mind off of stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know about that push
No,
mowing nonsense, dog.
I don't mind push mowing. I'm weird though, so
I ain't a push mower. I don't like. I mean, I will. Like, if I had to push mow, I would.
Yeah.
But I would not enjoy it.
I used to, part of my job, old job, used to be mowing, and I used to love when I'd come into work, and my boss, and it's like a nice day, like it sucks when it's like cold, but or like super hot, but like it was like in the 70s, and I would come in, and he'd be like, "Hey, we need to mow today. Can you hop on the zero turn and just mow all day?" As long as I brought my headphones, it was a good day. Just sit on the mower, listen to some podcasts, and just mow for literally like 6 hours. So that's a great time. But I was on a zero turn too, which makes things a little nicer.
Yeah, I mean, any mower you mowing is that's it's good stuff. Yeah.
I like
I
to have
mean,
a derby just with mowers, no cars.
they have that.
What?
A derby,
Yeah, dude, they
like
do
a
have it.
demolition derby
Yeah.
with mowers.
Oh, well, maybe they don't. I don't know.
They got
Probably not, dude.
races.
Actually, they probably don't.
They got races.
No, I'm saying we're going head to head, like boom in a mower.
All
What?
right, all
You're
right, David. We'll
crazy,
do that.
dude.
You do the push motor. I got a zero turn.
Bet I can.
You're
No,
crazy,
I'm
dude.
gone.
You're crazy, my guy.
Yeah. So, Rookie, tell us about yourself. What got you into streaming and gaming, whatever?
So once I was probably about 5 years old, and I saw. Oh wait, sorry, not five. I meant like last year. I saw this guy streaming, and his name was Chicken, and we started talking, and I got myself into streaming, and that's how I got into streaming.
You're like
Nice.
ridiculous.
Nice. What do you like
Hey,
about streaming? What do you like about gaming? All that stuff.
I think that is actually two separate conversations, like two different points. Like I like streaming for the fact like getting to know people and like being that people person and just like hey, like let me get to know you. Uh, sure, I'm playing a video game, but that I don't really see streaming necessarily for the video game as much as it is for the interactions with people.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and but gaming, I like gaming for the same reason, like how I talked about like enjoying mowing and stuff. Like it gets your mind off of things. It's kind of like a safe place for you to go to and just like get your mind off of what's going on outside and stuff. So
Yeah, for sure. All
Fair
right.
enough.
All right.
Fair enough.
So what type of, we talked about simulator games. What's your favorite game to play?
my favorite game to play, right now, I've been playing a lot of Madden recently. Um, I've also been playing uh some of the good old modded zombies on Call of Duty. And of course, I'm
Good
still
one.
on that Rocket League grind. Play that.
Oh,
That's
Rocket
probably the
League.
game I have the most hours in at this point. But that, and especially when it comes to streaming, Rocket League is the easiest game to stream for me. So
Nice, nice. I happen to know you bought a new system over the weekend. You
I
want to talk
did.
about that? How have you been enjoying that?
So it's great, and it has come into use exactly how or what I had intended for it.
Okay.
Um, so I bought a DS with some good old games with it, and I enjoy playing it, especially like going back to some of the games of like what was it? SmackDown versus Raw is a lot of fun, actually.
What?
SmackDown versus Raw
Stop. You're not
is
playing that
great.
game.
I
He
do play that
he
game,
did buy that game.
Why?
and of
Talk
course,
about
like
the games, all the games you bought with your DS.
New Super Mario Bros, the one that came out for the DS.
So not new.
Uh, no, not new.
I
Um,
know which one you're talking about, though.
yeah,
Yes.
and Kirby Super Squad Squeak Squad, whatever it
Oh,
is.
dude, Kirby Squeak Squad is a good one.
Yeah, that was a
Oh,
good
dude, that's a
game.
good one.
And I also got
That is
Nintendogs, but I have yet to play that one.
what?
Yeah.
I forgot about that. I felt like that game was like Nintendo's way of like, oh, let's get girls into gaming. But then I was like, dude, that's pretty fun.
Wow.
It was.
It kind of was.
It was
I mean,
straight
All the
Nintendo's
girls
way
played
of
that in
getting
elementary
women
school.
into gaming.
yeah, that was one of those games that like everybody in like my class played, and like you play it here and there. Like I don't know, like I haven't played it yet, but I'm excited to play it.
It was straight. It was straight Nintendo's way of getting women into gaming. It was. You
Yeah,
can't deny
you
that
know,
it wasn't.
no, you're right. I like to go walk the dog every once in a while on my DS. So
I hate you.
I mean, yeah, that's probably it's fair.
um. So, yeah, and I think something that Dave and I both have kind of in common, and with one of the reasons David probably wanted a DS, and I thought about getting a DS as well, was we weren't allowed to have one, slash our parents were like, we're not spending money on that when we were kids, and so we weren't able to play these games as kids. So it's kind of like I got and at our school for indoor recess, you were allowed to play your DS. So all the kids were playing their DS.
Really?
Yeah, you could play your DS for inside recess.
Mhm.
So
Huh.
there was little David and I in the corner playing with like whatever, or sitting there looking at our friends playing the DS, wishing we had one to play as well. Or like on the bus, everyone was playing their DS, and me and David just kind of sat there, boring. So there was a bunch of games that like it was like those were like our childhood, but we weren't allowed to play, and like we would watch other people play and like get a turn here and there. And like mine was
Yeah.
Animal Crossing. All my friends played Animal Crossing, and I wanted to play Animal Crossing so bad. So it's one of the
Good
reasons I
one.
bought a Switch. But and a lot of those games that David's talking about are ones he said he used to play on his friend's DS during indoor side recess.
Especially what was it? The Super Mario. That was the big one. That
Super
and
Mario.
that
Yeah.
and Kirby. I used to go over to my friend's house just to play Kirby, like
Dude,
on his
Kirby's
DS. So
Yeah.
Kirby's a good one. Kirby. I don't know why I'm being like a weirdo right now. Okay.
That-
So
So,
go
yeah,
ahead.
I mean, talking about gaming, gaming's fun, such, but I, let's talk about something real here. And I know that Dave has an opinion on this because he's a huge Packers fan.
Uh-oh.
I want to talk about. He already knows. He's
I
like,
do.
I already know what we're talking about. I want to talk about. And I only want to talk about this because Dave's such a huge Packers fan. I want to talk about Aaron Rodgers, my boy Aaron Rodgers, and how he was like, dude, I'm not. I'm lying about this COVID vaccine, lying about everything. I'm a liar. I'm a truther. Like Dave, how do you feel about this? How do you feel about
So
this guy?
with with what Aaron Rodgers did, like I mean, it is what it is, I guess. Like he did lie about it, which is not okay, and that's why I completely think that the NFL is right and like it's justified for what they did for the fine. I think it probably could have been more and worse, like miss a game or two. But I mean, if you're because and this is why, and even though I am a huge Packers fan, I think it's right that if you don't abide by the rules, you get punished for it. Now, I think he only got like a 16 grand fine, which to me is a lot of money, but to him is not. So it's
16
like
grand, dude. Yeah.
but it's a little slap on the wrist for him. It's like,
Yeah.
oh,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
you lied. Don't do that.
Hmm.
But
Is he also not getting paid for the games he missed?
maybe.
Because that
I
was
don't
in
know.
the to start the season. That was in the policies. If you're not vaccinated
The
and you miss a game, you don't get paid.
Yeah, that's probably the case then. But like I said, I think he probably should miss like at least one game or two after he's healthy,
Hmm.
But
just as another penalty. Like if you can't abide by the rules, then there should be something more than just a little slap on the wrist.
Suspended for the season.
Not that.
Just
so
throw him out of the league.
yeah, really fire him. No,
Make him go play in Pittsburgh.
oh, stop.
No,
Okay.
no.
Since this isn't really a sports podcast, I wanted to talk about more like just about um I did want to get your opinion on it, and how companies handle COVID is every company's different. And Jimmy was telling me a little bit about how the NFL handles COVID, and he can go into it in a second. But basically, Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers basically lied and said he was vaccinated, and when he came back positive for COVID, he was like, "All right, I'm not vaccinated." And the NFL has, I mean, some pretty strict rules on it. Jimmy can tell you about them.
Yeah, I'm trying to make sure I have all the facts straight, but I believe it's that you miss a game, and or you miss the games while you're sick. If you're not vaccinated, um, you can't or you don't get paid. As well as I believe if you have to miss a game, if you're there's enough that you have to miss a game, I think it's something like um you have to like pay money for other people to get paid. Um, Vaccinated individuals who test positive and are asymptomatic will be isolated and contact traced. Positive individuals permitted um, to return duty 2 days after a negative test. Yeah, so unvaccinated person tests positive. The protocol from 2020 remains in effect. The person is isolated for 10 period or 10 a period of
10
10
days.
days.
Yeah.
Um permitted will be permitted to do when they're asymptomatic. Um yeah. So yeah, pretty much like what I was saying
Yeah.
earlier. And I mean the NBA is even like Kyrie Irving is not getting is refused to be vaccinated, and he is not allowed to practice or play until he is vaccinated.
Oh, dude, see, I like that. I like that because it's like at that point you're not putting like you're putting others at risk as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm for not getting the vaccine. If you don't want to get the vaccine, that's fine. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm vaccinated. I'm a federal contracted employee. I didn't have a choice really. But I it doesn't bother me because here's the thing. If I get COVID-19 and I end up in the hospital, they're going to give me the meds that are in the vaccine anyways.
Mm-hmm.
So regardless of whether you want to get the vaccine or not, if you get COVID and you're on your deathbed, they're going to pretty much give you the vaccine.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter if you get the vaccine in your own time or if you get it in the Lord's time, pretty much. I mean, not necessarily, not figuratively speaking.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm on the fence about COVID. I mean, COVID's affected everybody's lives differently.
My
and
biggest
we're
thing about the whole like football, this whole Packers thing is with. I meant to jump in earlier, but with the whole him missing or whatever, it's the same thing as most companies. Like
yeah,
him not getting paid, I have no problem with because that's the same how my company runs. If you're not vaccinated, you get COVID, you're out for how long without pay?
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
That's how it is.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you are vaccinated, you get paid, but that's because you're trying to do your part.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's fair.
And like, don't lie about it. If you don't got it, you don't got it. It's not that big of a deal. But
Yeah,
why are you saying
that's
you got
true.
it?
That's true, man.
All right,
Dude.
let's move on to more of it.
I was gonna say, yeah. I don't want to get too political because we're definitely not a political podcast. We're not really a sports podcast. I wanted Dave's opinion because I know he's a big Packers fan.
If we want to
And,
get
you
into
know-
sports, we can get into sports. We can
No,
I could talk all
We
day.
can talk about how Odell Beckham is in LA now.
No one knows what that means, Jimmy.
A
So-
lot of people know what that means. Clayton
Okay,
Kershaw's
well-
a cheater. Clayton Kershaw wants to cheat.
If you know what that means, kudos to you. If
Leave
you
a
don't,
comment if
you're
you know
right
what that
here.
means.
Yeah, leave a comment if you actually know what that means. If
Clayton
you don't, you're
Kershaw's
right
gone
here
to
with
trash,
me.
if you know what I mean.
Oh, that's a good one. I like that.
Dude, I'm telling you, COVID has affected everyone, and
I thought we were
and-
moving on from that.
no.
Figure out how we got back
This
to it.
isn't. I'm not talking about COVID
No.
politically or anything. I thought in my mind this the other day, and I wanted to say this out loud to someone. I just never did, and I thought to myself, how many businesses and general things that before COVID we thought was okay and were plentiful of, but after COVID, they're non-existent. And there's a couple things that I thought of that will, I feel like COVID will kill them, but I think the biggest one that COVID is going to kill is movie theaters. I really think that COVID will destroy movie theaters, and I feel like in 2 to 3 years, movie theaters will cease to exist. I really think that because all the movies recently are coming out in theaters, are flopping, and then going to streaming platforms a week after. Literally. And most of the movies are being made available on streaming platforms too. I think the only movie recently that has done okay in the theaters is Halloween. What is it? Halloween Kills, I think. And the weird thing about that movie is it released in theaters and on Peacock at the same exact time, but it still killed it in the box office.
I would think Eternals is going to do pretty good.
I didn't look at any of the numbers on that, but I know for the most part that movies have been flopping, and it's because people don't want to go to a movie theater anymore. Here's my thing: if I can sit on the couch and watch a movie for 100% free on a platform I already pay for, then why would I not do that? Because movie theaters are expensive, dog.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
agree with that.
The thing that that Marvel's been doing is or Disney is you have to pay $20 to watch it.
Yeah,
Even
and
if you
that makes
have.
sense.
But the Eternals
here's-
did not come out on streaming.
Oh no, most Marvel stuff isn't, and Disney stuff isn't either. Some, with an exception, some of it is, but some of it isn't. How much did you guys went to see Eternals over the weekend, right?
Yeah, we did. We did.
And
And it
how
was
much did you pay?
we went
But
to a matinee and we paid $11.25.
each.
Yeah.
And how much was the popcorn
We
and the
didn't get
drink?
popcorn.
You didn't get a popcorn or drink.
Nope.
Dang, you guys saving that money.
We
You guys
cheap.
balling on a budget.
We just bought these things.
Oh my god. Hey, you just bought stuffed animals. Nah,
Um,
but like here's the thing.
and
Like
I mean, at 11.25, we also went to a VIP theater
oh yeah.
with XD screen.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So there's cheaper options than what we did.
And that's fair, but like like I'm thinking around me, like there's a couple theaters, like there's your really nice theaters, like your dine and movie theaters that like I mean me and my wife would go to the dine and movie theaters before COVID on like the cheap nights and pay like $30, if not like 40. Like on the cheap nights where the tickets would only be like $5 and we'd eat off the specials menu. Like we'd pay like $30, yeah. Well, actually, probably like 35 till you tip because you got a waitress and you got all that extra nonsense. But I mean, you think of like a movie theater that you guys went to, just like your plain Jane movie theater. Like you're talking what, $15 for maybe tickets if you go for like the lower grade stuff. Or like I think about the theater that we used to always go to back in our hometown where Dave's like a stone throw away from that movie theater right now.
Mhm.
I think about that movie theater and I'm like, well, we paid like $7 for those tickets, but that movie theater was garbage. Like that was the low
That
tier of
was
movie theaters.
that was probably the most top tier movie theater I've ever been to in my life. Those seats were perfect.
Dude,
The
you're
company was all great. Like
hallucinating.
everybody around you, like they all just did what they're supposed to, were quiet, paid attention.
Dude, you know a movie theater is bad when a different company buys it like every 2 years. That
That's
movie theater
true.
literally went through a different company like every 2 to 3 years. And
Yeah, you're right.
but like the thing is like you go in pay $7 for a ticket. You might pay like $5 for a drink and popcorn. That's $12. When you could sit at home and watch it on your couch for free, you don't have to go anywhere.
What I will say with that is, especially since you touched on the part with Halloween, I did go see that in theaters, and yes, and when you're talking about it being on Peacock, yes, but there's still that factor of setting that the movie theater brings,
The
like
experience,
the
yeah.
the experience to it, and I think scary movies are still going to succeed in that aspect.
Oh yeah,
Like,
because it's an experience.
And I
You
think
don't go
action
for just a
movies
movie.
too. Like Marvel
I agree.
movies are so much better in theaters.
Hmm.
And like I get where you guys are coming, but that's for every movie. People will go for the experience because
Yeah.
it is an experience. You go, you see the giant
Yeah,
screen,
but
you got your
comedies,
popcorn,
I'd more like I'll watch that at home.
and that's fair. But like, at what point do we get to the point where it's like, that experience is cool, like we did it enough. Like it's
Mhm.
like this next movie that comes out, let's just stay at home. It's gonna be on it's gonna be on HBO Max or Peacock or Paramount Plus or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Like
I
let's
So
just
have
stay at
done
home and
that.
watch it.
I have done that, especially with that new movie Dune. Like, I could have gone to the theater. That would have been a great
Yeah,
theater movie, but it was on HBO, so I just stayed at home and watched it.
yeah,
So I
and
just
like
I just think it's all about the what kind of movie it is and who. Like, I think I want to go to a movie by myself.
mm,
Like, it's always with like
that's
a
fair.
certain group
I
of
have,
people.
and it's actually not. I always thought like, oh, going to movie theater by yourself is kind of sad, but it's actually kind of like enjoyable because like you don't have the temptation of someone next to you to talk to. It's just like you're
That is
sitting there
true,
enjoying the movie.
dude. There's some movies that I
I
went
went
to
and
that
saw
I
Shang Chi
wish,
by myself. Sorry, go
dude.
ahead.
I wish there's some movies I've been to that I wish people would go to alone because they just don't shut up,
And that gets us
dude.
into our next topic of bad movie theater experiences, funny movie theater experiences, and good movie theater experiences. So,
I don't think
Chicken,
I've
do you want to
ever
talk about
had.
the one where we all had a very bad experience, the three of us together?
I don't think I've ever had a great movie experience.
I've had a
Um,
few. I've
I've
had
the
I've had
only
more than a few.
The only good movie experiences I've had were where I currently live. I went to pretty much every movie I've gone to where I currently live hasn't been terrible. I mean, I went to go see. Well, I mean, we saw 2 movies during COVID. No, we saw 1 movie during COVID. We saw Tenet with some of our friends, and that was like there's literally 8 people in the theater. Like me, my wife, our couple friends, and another small family. And like it was expensive because it was like a Sunday showing, and like we went to one of the fancy theaters that has food. Like I think we just got like a sampler platter with like some like a fried thing. It was a good movie, great. There wasn't a lot of people there. It was relaxing. But I mean, there's been some movies that I've gone to, and it's only been at that cheap theater. That cheap theater. Actually, no. I have another bad experience. I don't know if I want to talk about that on the podcast. Maybe we'll
I
see.
think I know what you're talking about, and you don't have to.
Yeah, that was a terrible movie theater experience. That was the worst movie theater experience. I don't think I'm going to talk about it.
Yeah, don't talk
maybe
about it.
We'll see. But anytime we went, because we had a thing where we would go see the Star Wars movies together, the 3 of us. We would go watch a Star Wars movie, and it wasn't like to me it wasn't like a hey, like we have to go to the best theater, we have to get the best seats, we got to get the best food. Like it was like let's just go and have a good time. Like it doesn't have to be like super expensive. Like I don't really care. But in my mind, after we left, I was always thinking, man, we should have gone somewhere else. We should have went to the fancy place. We should have got the fancy theater.
I always wanted to go to the fancy place, but you were always like, nah, it's too far.
One, it was too far, and 2, it was like double the price, dude. That theater that was next to your guys' where your parents live.
Okay, so
cheap.
Another point of why I wanted to go to more expensive ones is those cheap movie theaters are not good for fat guys. I don't fit in the seats.
Fair enough. I never thought about that.
I am uncomfortable the whole time, so I'm like, I would much rather go pay the money and go sit in a better seat than be squeezed the whole time. And that time we went there, I'll tell the story a little bit quicker than Chicken does.
Definitely, yeah, because I'm terrible.
He draws it out, which is good for the podcast, but terrible to clip for TikTok. So we went to this theater by where my parents live now. And like Chicken's been talking about, it was terrible. The seats were awful. The screens were all right, but there was this family behind us that brought their kids to go see Star Wars, one of the new Star Wars movies.
Hold on, before you finish, it was the first Star Wars in years. It was Episode 7. So it was Episode 7.
Yeah.
Are you sure it wasn't Rogue One?
No, I'm pretty sure it was Episode 7.
Okay, I thought it was Rogue One.
So much for saying this story quick.
We've been waiting for years to watch this. Sorry, Jimmy.
All right.
Well, not years. I mean, it was only announced a year. But yeah,
the
anticipation was there. Go ahead.
I was trying to make this clippable.
Okay, start over then.
No. So we went to go see the Star Wars Episode 7 for the first time to get a new Star Wars movie in a long time. And we go to this terrible movie theater. And to make it worse, we had free tickets. So we probably could have gone to the nicer theater.
I forgot about that.
But Chicken didn't want to drive that far, so we just went to the one close by. And there were some this family behind us. Kids probably like 5. The oldest kid had to be like 5. Kids were screaming. The parents were just trying to watch the movie, not trying to take care of their kids whatsoever. We had kids running up and down the aisle behind us. There was a little bit of a space between David's seat and the wall, and the kids were sliding.
I forgot about that.
Seats. Mister. They were just running through the movie theaters, tapping us on the shoulder, trying to talk to us. We're trying to watch Star Wars. It was terrible.
Kicking our seats. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Well, that was then we went to go see Rogue One when it came out, and there was
All
kids
right.
behind us talking the whole time, and they were kicking our seats. And
We
they were better than the first kids, but we all three of us afterwards said we were this close from going to get a manager. And like we're not Karens. Like I've never gone and gotten a manager complaint, but we were like
Oh, that was
this
terrible.
close to getting them kicked out because we were like, this is awful.
It was terrible. Every
But
time, dude.
David and I had a pretty funny story when we went to go see Eternals. Not very many people in the theaters. It was a VIP showing, and I like this theater because you're kind of like raised up. Like each row is like higher, and there's a wall in front of you, and it's like one of those recliner seats, and the wall comes up to the bottom of the screen, so you can't see the people in front of you. The only people you can see are the people next to you in the same row as you. So there you can't if people are being restless or whatever in front of you, you can't see them. No one can kick your chair from behind because there's a wall behind you. It's very private setting. You only see or like hear the people in your row, and you can pick your row. And like there wasn't very many people in our theater. Well, there happened to be um a guy to my left, and before the movie started, you could only hear it when it got quiet, like in between previews, and he was just breathing very heavily, and it was taking everything in me. And now he's like reclined up, laid back, just breathing heavily, and I was trying so hard not to bust up laughing. Meanwhile, David's breathing heavily just to to make it even funnier.
Oh
And
my gosh.
then the best part of it, like movie starts, we don't hear him. Something somewhat funny happens. Dude loses it. Dude busts up belly laughing like an awkward laugh, and David starts shaking in his chair. And now I'm like what 4 seats down from him, and I am trying so hard not to laugh because it was obvious that if we were laughing at him because we weren't laughing at what he laughed at. But it was.
I think what makes it funnier is that what he was laughing at was not funny.
What was he laughing at?
I don't remember, but it was not funny, and he just lost it. So now I'm
And he was like,
losing it.
bah, bah. Like it wasn't like a normal
What?
laugh. He was just like, bah.
What?
It was weird. It was weird. Yeah, it was weird.
That is kind of weird.
But yeah, I've had some really good movie theater experiences at that VIP theater I wanted to go see Star Wars at.
Somebody's salty.
I went to go see Civil War. This is something that David's a little salty about. David had a baseball game one day, and me and my friend decided instead of going to David's baseball game, we were going to go to that theater, the VIP theater, and go watch Civil War instead of going to David's baseball game. David was so upset. First off, he wanted to go see Civil War, and then I was skipping his baseball game to go watch it. But we got there and got our seats, sat down. We went like right after school. We were the only people in the theater.
Oh, dang.
And this theater, another thing I like with this theater is I don't get popcorn very often at theaters. I do when I go there. Because they have free refills on everything. So, but yeah, we had the whole theater to ourselves. Like it was really cool. Yeah, so that's one of my good experiences. My other good experiences are at that same theater. I had a buddy who worked there, and we were able to go after hours and watch movies for employees and their friends, and we just get the whole theater like to just like employees, and we could like bring outside food in, which was awesome.
That is dope.
We would run to Sheets and grab like burgers and stuff and bring them in. But also they have, I didn't even know about this, but it's one of the last times I went and watched a movie there was the new Toy Story. I didn't realize this, but this theater has like a box up. Like you guys know the theater I'm talking about. Like there's a spiral staircase that goes up to like a little balcony outside in the lobby. Up in there
Yes.
is a box that has like one way glass that you can look out and watch the movie, and
Oh,
it's got
dang.
like 8 seats in it, and it's like a private box, just you and your friends, with like drinks and stuff in it. That the employee, if you are the employee of the month, you get access to bring 8 friends in. So my friend was employee of the month, and I got to go sit in this private box and watch Toy Story, which was really cool.
That is
But
pretty
Yeah.
dope.
yeah, those are my. You got any funny or good movie theater experiences, Dave?
Yeah, so I don't know if I've ever actually told either one of you this, but back in college, me and the boys, I'm not a scary movie person. Either I've already talked about seeing Halloween. I saw the first one there in the theater too. But we went they made me watch it, the clown movie.
Oh my.
I'm terrified of clowns. So
Wait, which one? The first one?
no, the first one they made me watch in the dorm, but the second one we went to the theater to watch it.
Oh, I can't.
Now, it's most of my boys are on this side of me, and then it's just me and my roommate, and then some guy who came. This was opening night. Some guy came, watched it by himself, sitting by himself,
Oh.
and he, throughout the entire movie, was talking to himself and was like, "Uh-oh, I think he's gonna come out and get this person. No, he's gonna jump out. Oh, you better turn behind you." The entire movie, and my buddy and I were so freaked out. Like we're like, "Oh my goodness, this guy's insane! Like, who does that?"
What? I'd be a little freaked
Dude,
out
that'd
too.
be
to be
was
such a
honest.
so
great.
freaked out.
That'd be such a great Impractical Joker's punishment to have to go do that. But I actually have a funny story with that movie too. I'm not a scary person. Scary movie
I actually have a
person.
funny story with that movie too.
Isn't that the
I
one
do
you
act-
weren't gonna tell?
No.
Oh,
That was the first one.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm talking about the first one actually.
Oh, you're talking about the first It.
Yeah.
I actually have stories about both It's.
I went to. I actually have a story that's not. I'm not gonna tell on the podcast about the second It too.
Oh,
But uh, the first It, I went. My buddies in college talked me into going to watch it, and I'm not a scary movie person. And my roommate was a guy who went to bed early. He was like, he would go to bed early, and
boy.
I went to the first showing of like the first night it was available to go see it. So I went with some friends who lived in another dorm, and so they parked and we had to walk like, or they had to park in the freshman lot, which was pretty far away from our dorms. Or maybe the sophomore lot, but still was far away from my dorm. And so we parked, said goodbye to our friends, and then one girl had to walk to one dorm, and then there was a bit that I had to walk, and this was like midnight. I had to walk by myself across campus, and I
Oh.
was a little bit like shaken up. It was the first scary movie I like gone to the theater to watch. Walk into my dorm quietly because I'm like, my roommate has to be asleep. He's not in there. And I'm like,
Oh.
what in the world? And fell
That's
asleep. And then I woke up and I don't remember if he was in there or not. But we got to talking and I was so freaked out. Like, I think I put like my desk light on because I was like so freaked out and I was in there by myself. And end up he had gone to go see the midnight showing.
Oh my gosh. That's kind of funny.
But yeah. So you got a story, chicken, about the second?
Yeah, I have a story about the second one. I have a story about the first one. I'll just be very vague with it. Basically, I took like my new girlfriend to go see It Chapter 1, like the first one, and one of my ex's girlfriend's friends was walking out, and after the movie, she sent me some very descripted text messages, and yeah, it wasn't a good time.
Is it that you'll float too?
No, it was
Oh,
a lot worse than that. Anyways, the second one, well, let me rephrase that. The first one, I took my new girlfriend, who is now my wife. Cheers. But the second one, my wife and I went to one of the fancy ones because we went on Tuesday because it was like $5 for tickets, and like that was kind of like our date night. And the food was like relatively cheap. We still probably paid like 30 or 40 bucks, which like dinner and a movie isn't bad. 30 to 40 bucks for dinner and a movie in my mind isn't that bad. So we went to see It Chapter 2, and it's crowded because it's Tuesday and everybody's buying tickets because they're $5 a piece. And we go in and we sit next to this guy who has this thing right in front of him, and he has this giant mug of beer, just giant mug. It was probably like 32 to 40 ounces of beer, like just boom, right on his thing. Didn't have any food, didn't have anything, just this giant mug of beer. And the entire movie, unless he was taking a drink of his beer, which I'm pretty sure he chugged the whole thing in like 10 minutes, in the first 10 minutes. He was just sitting, staring at the screen, and unfortunately, you have to be watching the video to see this. Looking at the screen just like this. And he did not move from that pose the entire movie. Like, didn't jump once, didn't scream once, well, of course, he's a dude. Didn't jump, didn't do anything. Literally just sat there the entire movie. And like obviously like his hands were like almost in front of his face. And I was like, dude, you're kind of creeping me out a little bit. Like, and he's literally sitting like right next to me. Like he's literally like right here, like this close to me. And he's just literally just and it was kind of sketchy. And not as sketchy as like either of your stories, but it was kind of weird. And to this day, my wife and I joke about it like all the time.
Nice. Well, that's about time. So, any last remarks?
Eat your vegetables, kids.
I got apples. Does that count?
Apple a day, keep the doctor away.
I got apples.
Yeah, dude, an apple a day, keep the doctor away. That's what we're leaving you with.
Nice. Rookie, where can they find you, follow you, all that stuff?
Hopefully not in person, but on social media.
Where, like, what do they look for?
I'm on Instagram, Twitter, Twitch. If I'm missing any, I don't know. But TikTok. I'm on TikTok. But it is the depending how you pronunciate words _ Rookie3. That's how you can find me.
Nice. Chicken, where can they find you?
I mean, you know where to find me. Chick 3 and 3, pretty much anywhere.
Yep.
Unless it's a weird variation of that.
And I am Uneven Shrimp. It might be TTV, whatever. And you can, if you're listening, you can find the podcast at the Surf and Turf Podcast on YouTube. If you're on YouTube, you want to watch it on listening, check it out on anywhere you can listen to your podcast. Just a note, we are posting our podcasts. We're trying to post them on Sundays or Saturdays, the video, and Sundays the audio should be out. So if you want to catch it early, watch it on. Want to be one of the first ones. Watch it on video. If you don't mind when you listen to it, then Sunday is when it comes out everywhere else. Catch you guys later. Peace.
See ya.